do you apply what you learn? We are rounding up now. 2 slides to go. How do you apply what you learn? How to get the best from a book is easy, really, if you understand a few tips. Number one, you have to escape the school mindset. You're not reading to pass an exam anymore. You're reading to pass life. They're different. All right? In the school, you were reading to pass an exam. You were reading to pass the course and all of that. But now you're reading to do life. The approach must be different. And here's how different the approach is. In escaping the school mindset, you have to see that book not as an exam material, but a material for something you can take out the lessons from that book and apply it almost immediately. There are books where you read just to have knowledge for future reference, but there are books, for the most part, I advise people to read books that they need, whose lessons and solutions they can apply now. Second, never skip the intro. The introduction is the basis of the knowledge or the treatise or whatever the author is trying to communicate in that book. Never skip the intro. Third, mark your pages. Write in your book because it is yours. That's why I advise people to get copies of their own books, not to borrow, because when you borrow, there's only so much you can do. We are certain books where I write in them. I even write laughter emojis in books. Why? Because those things give me laughter. There's a book I'm trying to pick here. Yeah, okay, I've hung it on the shelf already. It's riddled with underlines, brackets, emojis, with sticky notes of this is what I'm going to do with this knowledge. Apply this here. In fact, there are sometimes I've been reading a book, I dropped the book and I started making calls right away because the epiphany I got, I could not wait. That's the beauty of it. It's not just to gather knowledge, it's to push you to take action immediately. You dump the book, you take action. There are some books that I didn't have the liberty to read them back to back. I read the introduction and I went straight to the chapter that mattered to the part of my life that I'm in now. And then I read that book, read that portion, and I went to take action. That leads to my next point. Use the ACT model. Ask yourself, what can I use this knowledge to do right now? Where can I act this knowledge out? What should I change by virtue of this thing I have learned? And who should I teach? The reason for the last point is that the more you are able to show people what you have learned, the deeper the lessons sink for you. That's why it's important. Part of the things I would have loved to share with you because of lack of time is that when you read, one of the ways to develop a reading culture is to also develop a good writing culture. Whether it's writing in public or writing in your journal, there has to be an outflow for all of that knowledge that is coming into you. Because if the knowledge is coming into you and you're not giving it out, you are a Dead Sea. You see? And nothing lives in the Dead Sea. Nothing survives there. There has to be inflow and outflow. So whether you are writing for the public or writing in your journal, there has to be a mode of you expressing what it is you are learning. Very important key. Read some twice. I think I almost skipped that part. Read some books twice. Not all books are worth a second read, but there are some books that are worth a 10th read. Because whether you like it or not, in the first read, if you say you understood everything you read in the first read, you are lying to yourself. Some books, you may not even be able to relate to the lessons because you are not at the stage of life where the lessons will make sense to you now. Some books that I've picked 10 years later, I picked them up and I underlined some of those things. And I saw that, my goodness, I underlined this thing, but then it was just a good quote to me. But now it makes a lot of sense because now I have experience. My goodness, I can't imagine I read this back then and I just underlined it. I didn't take action. Why? Because I wasn't at the stage of life where I could do anything with that knowledge. But now I can. So some books are worth several reads because of that factor, that you can't just learn them at the same go or understand everything in them in one go. So discuss, the next point I'll be saying, discuss with others who have read it. The reason why you need to discuss a book with those who have read it is because no two people read the same book. In fact, there's a saying that you never read a book twice. For the second time you are reading the book or the third time you are reading a book, you are a totally different person now. But let's go back to discussing it with others. The reason why you need to discuss the book with others in a book club, in a community, is because no two people read the same book twice, because we don't see the same from the same perspectives. There is a backlog of unique experiences, exposure, right? Exposure and growing up settings that makes me unable to see the kind of lessons Marcelina will gain from a book. I may have just seen it as a self-help book, but maybe she may have seen it as a book on parenting, or a book on relationships, or a book on lifestyle. I may have missed that part. Maybe I missed the part where the author was talking about his daughter who had cancer. And it's not because I'm dumb. That knowledge only went to the spam folder of my mind because there was no residual, there was no corresponding experience in me to be able to make connection with that knowledge yet. So it stuck with her, but it may pass over my head. So when we are discussing, I'll be able to see my blind spots. I'll be saying, oh, really? How did I miss that? Are you getting this? If you're getting value, let me know in the comments. Book, absolutely. No two people read the same book. Our experiences are so different that we have the likelihood of us seeing entirely the same lessons from one book is very minimal, is very slim. There are things that you would see, I will not see. There are things I would see that you cannot see. And it's not because you are dumb. No, it's because you don't have the unique experience that makes me relate to that knowledge yet. Excellent point. Thank you. Thank you. I'm seeing the feedback in the comments. So, by all means, discuss the book with. Then next, read book summaries. You know why book summaries are important? Book summaries are important because, especially for research purposes, in 2016, I was writing an essay, and I remember I had a very short time. Was it 6 days to go through this book titled Why Nations Fail? I think I have it in front of me here. This is the book. Look how voluminous it is. It's about the book is about 464 pages long. And look at the print, very tiny print. How would I be able to make sense of this, finish 464 pages that I need for my essay, and then read it in 6 days? That's not possible. Well, it is, but hey, that's not something I want to do. I didn't have that. I had other commitments. So I quickly went online, typed book summary, Why Nations Fail, on this aspect, and then I got the book summary and I used that summary to be able to build my argument in the essay I was writing. And by the way, I won that essay. I was the best. My essay was picked as the best in the country at the time. So you can see, book summaries help you. When you can't go the long haul, you need the knowledge now. You don't have that time to go. You will read the book later, but you don't have that time now. So you can use book summaries, okay? Now, read only the chapters you need. I think that's the last point. That's where I'll draw the curtain. read only the chapters that you need. Like I said earlier, after reading the introduction, go to that, skim through the table of contents, look at it carefully. Okay, what chapter resonates with what I'm going through now? What chapter do I want to? And this mostly works with self-help, because if you do that on fiction, I wonder how that will go. You miss a lot of stories in betweens. You won't know how somebody who was in the Bahamas 1 minute is chasing camels in the Sahara Desert. You won't know how the story evolved to get to that point, you see. So you do it not with fiction, but works of non-fiction, self-help, and all that. So read that, okay? Read only the chapters you need when you need to. By all means, if you have the opportunity, of course, go through the book. As you are building a new habit, it is important that you take it incrementally. Go through the book, chunk after chunk. But when you've built that habit, you are reading for the purpose of getting knowledge, you want to solve a problem, then go to those chapters that resonate with what you're going through at the moment. And by all means, extract the lessons and make the best out of your life.